The power and control wheel. Now, just a little trigger warning, I will be addressing different types of control that can encompass sexual, physical, emotional. So if you do need support, please make use of our resources and feel free to get in touch. The power and control wheel, which you can easily find on Google, and there are many, many versions, simply breaks down into pies, different types of violence or control that can be experienced in relationships. I'm just going to run through it so that we're aware of what kinds of control there can be. Oftentimes when we think of control or violence, we think of physical violence, which leaves scars and marks which are visible to everyone. With the Me Too movement and different sexual violence awareness campaigns, we have realized that actually violence and forms of control can be internal, and perhaps they're not shown, but they're definitely there. So one of the forms of control is using isolation. This is when a person is not allowed to maintain friendships or socialize or leave the household, and therefore wrecking some of their friendships and isolating them from the world. Using emotional abuse, which can involve put downs, name calling, destroying someone's precious things, punching a wall. It keeps us at this kind of survival mode, when somebody has to live in a household every day where, there are threats, there are smashing things. All of this might not inflict a physical pain, but it will certainly build on the psyche of a person and keep us operating at a survival mode level where we just don't know what's about to happen. Using the children. So this can be a situation where one parent is telling lies or telling something to the children about the other partner, which could be about their disagreements as well, and essentially making the children pick a side and diving wedges into the relationship. It can also be using the kids as messengers with the other partner. It can also be telling the other partner that they're a bad parent, or threatening to take the kids away altogether. Minimizing, denying, and blaming. This is when control or abuse has taken place, and then one partner goes, oh, actually, that wasn't that bad, or you're just imagining things, or essentially it's just trying to remove blame altogether and blame the other person for having had this happen, saying that it's their fault, or blaming the abuse on alcohol, on drugs, or on other factors. Which is essentially a way of deflecting, right? We have physical abuse, which certainly we know the very intense and severe cases, which have sometimes led to deaths. But there's hitting, kicking, using weapons. But there are also other forms of physical abuse, such as restraining someone, slapping, pinching. By restraining, I also mean holding someone back and not allowing them to leave. So there are many different levels of physical abuse. Using social status and privilege is another way, where someone is saying that it's a gender issue. So say, for example, telling a woman that they deserve the abuse because they're a woman, and maybe forcing them to do absolutely all of the work, take care of the children, using the Bible or any other religious belief to make one partner have to obey the other or subjugate to the other. So these are all types of social status and privilege forms of control. Using economic abuse, which is controlling the finances. So there might be cases in which certainly there are two breadwinners, but in circumstances where there are not, there might be one partner that is completely controlling the money, not letting the other one make any of the decisions, limiting the amount of finances that they give the other, in a way that keeps them on survival mode. And they're having to beg for money, they're having to really not be able to make any decisions, any financial decisions. And also this can be extended to not allowing the other partner to have and keep a job, which allows the other partner to maintain all the financial control. sexual abuse, which certainly can extend to unwanted touching, which, there can escalate all the way to rape, or simply making comments about someone's body, put downs, whistling at someone, certainly in a negative way where the other person is certainly not receptive to it, rating someone's body, snapping at their bra straps, for example, and like pulling hard, hurting the other person. So this power and control wheel is interesting because it just extends it makes us have an umbrella vision, all the different ways that control, abuse can take place. And I like the cyclical nature of the wheel because it kind of alludes to the fact that so many cases of domestic abuse are cyclical in nature. There'll be so many questions about, why didn't he or she leave? Why wouldn't they just stop this? And the reality of the matter is that sometimes they can't. And perhaps it's something that's hard to understand for some of us. But there are many, many deeply rooted experiences in someone's fabric, in someone's makeup, that make it very logical to explain. And this is something I will dive into in another one of our episodes. So thank you so much, and I hope you are doing well.